So before we put these pads back together, I just want to go over a couple of things real quick. We're actually going to be removing, well, we're getting rid of these old casters because when I was taking them out of the pad, some of them were just stuck and rusted over. So what we're gonna do is we're going to replace all the casters with brand new ones that I bought from Betson. They're exactly the same as the old casters here. And we're also going to replace basically all the screws that came with the pad. Like brand new ones I got from Mr. Metric. They had all the metric screws that I needed for these pads. And they have all sorts of different sizes, and they had the exact sizes that I wanted. And I basically made a bulk order of it here. It didn't really cost too much either, so I highly recommend them. As for like the wheels and stuff, the old wheels actually still they still spin and they still move. I didn't have a hard time removing them. So I think all I need to do is just like wipe them down a little bit, clean them up, and we can actually just keep these, and they're still pretty good. Alright, let's wait a little more for this to dry. Might take like a few hours. Alright, I think we've got everything we need to put this pad back together again. I went ahead and did the second player pad over here just to make sure that everything still fits perfectly. And these leg levelers actually really nice looking. Like, got one here. Again, they're from I got them from Betson for a reasonable price. They look a lot better than the old levelers that I had over here that are just kind of just misshapen, busted up, and they're like what, 18 years old now? Nasty. So what I did here to get the leg levelers in was that I got some baby oil to, you know, just grease up the nut in there so that I can get this leveler in nice and smoothly. And I reused the old casters here because they were still in pretty good condition, and the screws are actually pretty well intact too. Like, I was really surprised by that, so I just kind of took a rag and doused it in some of the baby oil, rubbed it all together, made sure that everything's all greased up well, and put all the wheels back in. So I'll show you how I do all that with this pad here. Okay, so I didn't really have a place to kind of put it on its side, so I just flipped the whole thing upside down. And what I got here is a kind of like an oil rag. I put some like mineral oil and stuff, and I have what's called a thread chaser. I didn't really have one that was big enough to fit into those holes, so I kind of just use it as like a little rod to stick this oil rag through, and this is how I'm just gonna grease up the holes where the casters go so that they don't really have any trouble locking in. Just gonna clean this up a little bit here. So that, I already got those two over there. Just grease that up a little more. That's, now this has like some leftover paint seep through, so this is why I'm greasing this whole thing up, so that I knock out any of the loose paint, and mineral oil gets rid of some of the wet paint that's left over. So got that, and kind of just like go through some of these holes and just clean out all that stuff there too, since some of the paint that has dried up is still left over in some of these holes. But these are really not that big of a deal. I just want to like knock out any loose paint here. No one's gonna really see the bottom, so it doesn't really matter too much. Just want to get this kind of a little clean up here. Okay. Alright, so we greased up those holes. Let's get our leg leveler here. Whoop. What we want to do is get this nut all the way down. So we don't want this thing to lock immediately. Might need some help with the wrench. So we'll get to a certain point where it's going to kind of give a little resistance. Just put this down here. Want the wrench to be big enough here. Spin to close it up. And see, with the mineral oil, it definitely helps make this a smoother process. I haven't really run into any issues with the leg leveler locking up, except for this nut here. I kind of want to get this to go down a bit. Come on. That down a little bit. There we go. Okay. Now we can bring this all the way down. Not completely down, but just enough so that we can bring out the levelers when we get this thing all set up. Let's get the next leveler here. Get this thing down. Let's go over here. Let's get that out of the way. There's a bit of paint still in there, so we want to knock some of it loose. There we go. Thing should get back in easier now. There we go. Yeah. See, it's paint residue is kind of getting in the way. Just quickly vacuum this up a bit. Alright. Got the paint all gone. Should be able to get this thing threaded in. Let's get help with the wrench. Oh, this one's a little tougher. Might need a little more mineral oil with this one. Yeah, let's get some of the baby oil. Like, baby oil is just what? Mineral oil and fragrance. And this stuff has been working pretty well so far. Just put some on the rag a little bit here. Not too much. Just rub it into the rag a little bit. I'll take the chaser here, make it act as a rod. Let's just kind of just shove it through. Yeah, there's still some loose gunk in there. Kind of wiggle it around and basically just unclogging this nut. Hopefully that should do it. Let's try to get the leveler back in. Well, this feels a lot better now. Much better. Oh. Alright, hitting a little bit of resistance now. This thing isn't completely perfect, but we're gonna get there. Yeah. Alright, here we go. Still a lot better. Okay, let's get a couple more levelers. Okay, got 1 and 2. I have 4 more levelers just in case I need to replace the levelers on the cabinet itself. But we'll see what we got to do when we actually get to that. This doesn't go down. Won't have it go down all the way. Just enough. Okay. Let's grab these. Come over here. See how far we get here. Might need to unclog this a little more. Let's go grab our little rod thing that we made here. Just shove this through. Yeah, there's still some loose paint in there. Hope I'm not ripping this rag. Rags are pretty strong though. Can withstand a lot of force. And I hope that was enough. Maybe this one's a little tough. Might be some more residue around the edges. So we'll just rotate this around, pick at the edges. We could try a part of the rag that it's got more oil on it. Okay. this on through around the edges. Get as much as we can. Okay, let's try this again. Might just have to force this through with the wrench. Oh, whoops. I really wish I had a chaser that was big enough to fit through this thing, but I only had up to M20. This seems to be way bigger than that. This one's tough. Maybe I can use this as a chaser. Then got it down. Let's bring it back up. It's coming back out a lot better than going in. Yeah, okay. Alright. Let's put a little more oil in there. Oil the threads up here. A little more grease. Just clean that up a little bit. Let's see if it goes back in better. Oh yeah, that's better. Didn't even need a wrench for this one. At least until you get to about halfway. Right about now. Much out. Okay, much better now. Okay, let's grab our stuff and go to. Let's go to the last leg here. Use the oil on the rag and poke through a little bit. Work around the edges like we did before. Knock out anything loose. Let's see how we do here. We hit resistance. Let's see how far we can force this down. Give it a little clearance here. Okay. With the wrench assist, I can sort of get this thing down. It feels a little wonky. Okay, it's not too bad. Alright, so we're basically chasing this thread. Let's bring it back up. this a little more. Let's see if we can get this so we can put the rod all the way through. Where's our oil spots? Clean the threads up. Okay, let's put this back in. Yeah, there we go. Feels much better. Let's get this thing down. Awesome, okay. We've done it. Okay, next, let's grab the wheels. There's, just like there's 4 casters, there's going to be 4 wheels. I didn't get a chance to clean those up some more. Get like a paper towel and wipe that down a bit. So we basically got 4 wheels here. They look a little slimy. So you just want to give it like a little wipe down. You don't want to like degrease this thing. You want it to be a little greasy and oily, so that it can actually spin and turn and stuff. Like, these are still good. You just want to wipe off some of the dirt. Anything that might like block the way of it turning. Like, get some of the edges here. Yeah, alright. Scrub that. Let's spin that around. This part's the toughest part to clean. You don't really have much clearance here, so you just gotta like wedge your finger in here. Just get whatever you can. All right. Okay, yeah. Doesn't look too bad. Definitely a lot better than before. Just knock the loose dirt here. We'll do the same with the others and we'll be right back. Okay, we got our wheels as clean as we possibly can get them, and now we're ready to reattach them to the stage here. So I'll show you where they go. They go right next to the leveler actually. There's 4 holes here, 4 threaded holes that line up like this. And you just gotta screw them down. Get that piece of dirt out of there. Right. There are 4 SEM screws here. Not sure what size they are. I think they're M6s. Like M6 SEM screws. I want to make sure these all line up. So with the holes here. So you want to get the corners here first so that you don't end up misaligning at first and then having to unscrew everything and readjust it. Alright. And I screwed up a bit here, so let's loosen them up again. I'll get this back one to line up. How did that happen? Did we get it? Okay. I think we got it. There we go. Hey, that's simple. That still spins. This one's kind of a little rough, but you could just lube it up a little bit. Maybe like a bit of mineral oil in there. Should be good. Alright, let's get the other ones here. Oops. Let's get this rag out of the way. Take that to the wheel here and grab 4 more M6 stem screws. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, some screws look like that. I think you can get these from Mr. Metric. That's where I got the rest of the screws to put this pad back together again. Come on. Hopefully I lined this up correctly. Yeah, there we go. Let's only screw it in halfway before I get the other side. Okay. Come on. Let's push it through. Oops. Hands are getting a little slippery from the oil. There we go. Okay. Good. Let's screw that and screw that in. Come on. And you got this. Okay. There we go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Great. Okay. 2 more left. 4 screws. Actually, let's grab all of them. We'll swing around the other side. Drag this wire out of the way. Again, we do the same thing here. Line them up. Should get a lock on the threads here before we commit. Oof. felt rough. Let's try again. Hold on here. Got a bit of loose paint. So let's grab all that and see if we can get rid of that. Okay, so what this means is I might have to drive through the threads here. I should get a smaller one. So I'll be right back with that. Okay, and we're back. So this, I think, I could just poke through at it. I'm using an M4 chaser here to just kind of poke through all this here. Loose paint. No biggie. Right. So let's get our wheel back in place, see if we have better luck getting this back in. Let's try some of the problem threads. They are no longer. Oh, I don't know. What is wrong with this thread here? Is it just this screw? I could probably oil this up a little more. Let's see how that does. Knock out some of the debris in the threads. Whoops. I'm back here. I think that should be good. Hands are slippery. I'll wipe them down a bit. Kind of shifted over. So, loosen this up a little bit. Over. There we go. Should be able to get this in now. There we go. Much better. All right. Great. Let's grab our last wheel. caught. No. Okay, you know the drill by now. Let's line it up. Let's grab the rest of the screws here. Lock them in. Oops. Get them all in the threads. Make sure that they line up properly. One. Okay. There we go. Nice. Nice and secure. There. Make sure that's completely tightened down. Okay. We've managed to put all the legs and the wheels together. Great job. Great job, me. Okay. We're gonna clear this whole area and then kind of just flip the pad back. I want it to be in this area, so we'll check it out when I flip it over and see how we did. This is starting to come along now. We're getting so much closer to finally finishing this thing. I'm so excited. Okay, so we got the pads set up next to each other, basically ready to work on getting the frames put in place. I need to get these sensor channels. I got these from Betson too. They were really cheap, like 59 cents each. And you just gotta stick them to the frame. I think I need to apply some sort of adhesive because these don't look like self-adhesive channels like I thought they were gonna be. So I'll have to figure that one out. I might use some like mounting tape or something because I don't know if I have any adhesive on hand right now, but we'll worry about that later. I'll just get the channels in, and I think I can actually start snaking the wiring through and install the I/O boards, and then we'll get frames and all the plates ready, install the bar, well, both of the bars. Then I think after that, once we cover everything up with all the plates and stuff, actually we gotta, once we snake the wiring through and get all of the frames set up, we gotta test the sensors. We gotta test the sensors, make sure they go in the right place, because otherwise it's gonna screw things up later on. So we'll get to that in a sec. Alright, down to the fun part here. So I installed the I/O boards for the pads, and now we gotta figure out how we're supposed to wire them. Well, luckily I looked up the manual, and the wire for this end pretty much stayed in the same position, so we have a pretty good idea of what goes where. But on the manual, on the I/O board, it should be up, down, left, right. And if we trace these wires here, they should be going to the correct arrow. So if we look here, up, down, down, over there, and then left, left goes over there, and then last but not least, right, right goes here. All right. And we want to make sure we do the same here. Up is here, down. This one was the confusing one because of how these wires were clustered. But down goes there, left, it's going over there, and then right. All right, cool. So now that we've figured out what goes where, now we just have to snake all these wires through. Usually you gotta snake them through these holes and pretty much bring them to where they belong. Okay, that's one pad down. It wasn't as much of a pain as I thought it was gonna be. And since we have another pad, might as well show how it's done. Let's put us over here-ish. You can see a whole pad here. Okay, so this thing here, ideally, we want it to be in the central area here. Let me see. Let's snake this through the connectors that go to the I/O board through this hole here. I might knock some loose paint, because I did that with the other wires. I just had to clean them off. Oh, nothing there. That's good. And let's go through here. This might be a little tough. I think this part here was the hardest part, just because it's so clustered together. I think we might have it here. Make sure it kind of bends the right way so that we have all the wires in the correct position. Let's see. Let's bring it closer. Okay, so let's see. Make sure we got it in the right positions. Let's trace that here. That, no. We want that wire. I think this one is, how it's supposed to be. No. It's hard to tell with this in the way now, so we're trying to find up. Like, up was supposed to be one of these. I think it was supposed to be this one. This one here corresponds with that. Yeah, okay. So actually, we wanted to get up to come this way. Come on through. Kind of line up how it originally was in like the square. So I still have the original sticky things here that keep the wire in place. Might replace them actually. Okay, so that goes there, there, and it's here. I actually bought some extra things like this to keep the wire in place, just because I have a few that are missing. We'll get to that later. But yeah, here's up. Up corresponds to up, down, left, right. Put that down. And I think we can actually safely just connect all of these because of how they're shaped. If they just so happen to not be the right ones, you can swap them easily. Alright, so this should be down. Where is down? Down over here. Go. I think we want to try sneaking through this hole here. There's two ways you can go. And the wiring cluster was originally supposed to be like, I think it was supposed to be like taped somewhere. It was like it has one of those sticky things that keeps the wire in place. I can't remember where it's supposed to go. I don't know if it goes along the wall of the pad or what. But in any case, let's get this through the hole. Come on. If I don't like get it all tangled up. This. It's got the sticky thing there that keeps stays like that. Sensor connector over there and here. I think it's supposed to go this wall here. Yeah. I'm not sure what happened here. Because this thing is loose. Maybe it's just not in the right place. Maybe I just knocked it loose somewhere. Yeah, I think that's supposed to stick here. Okay. We'll call that one done. And then let's get left and right. And that's right. Which way did this go? Is it like that way? Is it this way? Because the other pad went like that. But the shape is kind of awkward. I wonder what happened here. I think somebody redid this somehow. They kind of just like took this wire here and folded it together. Just like redid it. And I think this one is. I don't know. This one looks a little weird. Let's make sure that that's right. That. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Let's assume that's right. Let's go do left. Just move this way. It's not blocking the way. Okay. All right. I think we did it. I think there's one more little thing here. There we go. So this is supposed to go like, right? I think so. Yes. All right. We snaked everything through. That was a pain in the half. Okay. Wow, my hands are dirty. I thought I cleaned these. I'm pretty sure I sprayed them down. They must have just got dirty from just sitting around. Alright, I think next, we might just be able to install, the LEDs. I replaced my neons with LEDs like a long while back, so we can bring out those plates and just like screw them in. There's really not much to them, and then after that I'll grab the switch frames and start installing those. So while I was putting the LEDs back in, I'd realized that I had forgotten to order replacement SEM screws here, and I don't have enough of the old ones to screw in everything else. Yeah, so I forgot to order SEM screws. They're supposed to be M4 by 20. Yeah, I hadn't taken those into account for some reason, so I don't have a screw for every one of these boards. So I plan to replace them eventually. I'll probably put an order in soon so I can get them all filled in. So yeah, I'm still using the old screws here, and some of the holes here are missing, but I had just enough to at least secure them all in place. Each one of them has about 2 of them, and this one has 4, and I'm all out of them, so I'll just have to get some new ones soon. Hey, so as I was putting things together, quickly realized that the set of screws that I ordered to secure the frames in place were not the right size. The manual specified M5 SEM screws, and these threads are in fact M4, so I have a bunch of the wrong size screws over there. Luckily I had a few M4s, but not enough to secure all these in place, so I had to put another order into Mr. Metric to grab the right size screws. So I guess we'll have to improvise for now, and hopefully we can get this all together soon. So I did some digging around to find some extra screws that I may have had, and I actually found some of the original replacement screws that I had, that I got years ago to replace the screw, like the destroyed screws that were in the plates here, and they should be about the same size as the corner switch frame screws here. And I believe, I don't know if they're metric, but they seem to fit pretty well. They are some panhead Phillips head screws. So I think we may have enough to cover everything we need. So we could just actually go around, install those, and hopefully we can make some good progress on getting this thing put back together again. So I was closing up these plates and I did forget one thing to do. So there's this connector here on each of the I/O boards that I forgot to connect, and I have the wiring here I'm supposed to install, and I believe this wire is supposed to go in the first player side here because it has the hole here, and second player does not. So let's see if we can get this thing taken care of. Let's see. Should be able to get this snake through, because this is supposed to match up to the tube here. There's a big tube that goes from the pads to the machine, and this helps bridge that connection. So let's bring that through. Come on. You can do it. Okay. Alright, so that's in there. So we gotta take this connector. Forgot how this was supposed to be installed, because there's a sticky thing here, and I think it goes here. It connects this way. Or does it go the other way? It's supposed to go the other way. Maybe I have to turn it around like that. Can't tell. I think it has to be this way, right? Yeah, there we go. That looks right. Okay. This is, these wires down here are through the hole, and this is supposed to, I think this is supposed to go to, yeah, and this one connects here. This is the ground, I think. CN7. Just bring that down here. Disconnect this cable. Alright. There we go. And now we gotta take this wire here and we have to bring it to this hole on the side. Before I was rudely interrupted by having no more disk space on my memory card, I went ahead and finished up the connections on the I/O board, and right now I'm locking in the bars here. As you can see, they're held in by these bolts here, these bolts and washers in 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 spots each bar. They're a little tough to get to with a wrench, so it'll take some time to tighten these up, but once we get these all ready, we'll be able to go into the switch frames and lock in those channels with some world's famous Gorilla Glue. That's all the adhesive that I have that might actually work with the switch frames, so I'll be doing that in a bit. Alright, let's take a look at how we want to apply these channels to the bracket, the switch frame here, using some Gorilla Glue. I'm going to use up some of the small tube here, and let's take a look at how we want to do this. So what you want to do is check out the wiring first. Take a look at how this is laid out here. So these are the connectors where you plug in your sensors. So if you look at how they're placed, this is going to determine how you want to place the channels. So you see how the channel can be moved around anywhere, and you want to give a little bit of room on one side for the wires to, you know, just rest on. You don't want it to be like directly in the middle. It's not going to give enough room for the sensors, and you don't want it to be the opposite end of where the connectors are. See how this connector here will correspond to this channel, and it's over on the right here. Just knock it over. So this connector here is on the right. What you want to do is then give some space here for the sensor to run its wires and run the connector. Because if it's going to be too far away, it's not going to reach, and your wiring is just going to get really messy if you try to, you know, yank at the wires. So what you want to do is strategically lay these out so that you have enough room laid out here for the wires to lay on. So this channel here, we can see that the connector is all the way down here, so we want to have the wire run out through here. And same with this one. This one seems to naturally go this way, so we want to give some room here. And this one is pretty tight, so we have to give room here. So let's, now that we've determined where we want the channels to be laid out, let's stick them in place. Let's see. Just use a tube of this Gorilla Glue here. And just to make things a little cleaner, we want to lay the glue on the metal here and not on the channels, because you're going to risk having this stuff run off all over the place. So we'll give you better view here. So we want to put some Gorilla Glue down here. Let's see if we can squeeze some of this out. I'm hoping we can get some out here. Really hope this nozzle hasn't dried out. Okay, so we've got, I think we've got something here. Don't know if this is supposed to run like this. I thought it would be a little more runny like super glue, but this might be a good thing actually. So we don't want super glue to be running all over the place. So you just want to cover the area that you want to get. Not too much though, just enough. Okay, let's lay out what we can here before this thing explodes. Need something to wipe this with before it overflows. Come on. So let's wipe that off, close it for now, and let's see how we make out here. Got the channel. Let's stick the channel in its rightful place. Okay, I think we managed to cover all of it. There's nothing running on the edges, which is good. And we're just gonna let all that sit for a while so that it cures and sticks and all that good stuff. Okay, now we just have to do the same thing to the rest of these sensor channels. While we're waiting for the Gorilla Glue to dry, this is where we can start getting crafty, as in we got some craft foam here to prepare the pad mod. What the pad mod is that we take the L brackets here and we put on some craft foam so that when you press down on the arrows, it's not going to rip this whole paint job apart, and it's gonna make the arrows more sensitive. So what we're actually gonna do is, I prefer to first put some mounting tape. If I can get this out of here. It's really sticky. It does the job well. So what we have here is some 3M mounting tape, and what I like to do is I put a layer of the mounting tape on the L bracket, and then I cut a piece of the craft foam here, just the size of the top of the L bracket here, and then I take off the back piece of the mounting tape and I just paste the foam on, and you're just gonna have a complete uniform finish. And then when you want to adjust the sensitivity of the pads, I put on some either electrical tape or gaffer tape on top. I usually prefer the gaffer tape because it's not so slippery, and it's not likely to slip off while after playing on them for a while. So I'll show you how this is done. So I'm going to use this roll here to start off with because it's almost gone. So what you want to do is take some of this tape. You want to measure up how much you want. You want to make sure you get the length just right. You don't want too much on it. It's better to have too little than too much, because then you're going to have to cut the excess off. And what's great about the 3M mounting tape is that it's just the right size. Put on the L bracket. And actually, what's great about the mounting tape is that you can actually remove it pretty quickly and just put it back on to adjust it, so that even if you make a mistake, you should be able to adjust it pretty quickly. Also, a great thing about the mounting tape is that if you want to change the mods, if you want to change the way you modify your pad mod, say if you want to put like weather stripping on or something else, you can quickly just rip the whole thing off. You don't have to scrape the top of the L brackets too much so that it just rips off all the paint. You can actually just rip all the adhesive off pretty cleanly. So let's measure out how much we want here. I want just a little short of the length. Cut along top here. So now we got a piece of foam that we can put on top of the mounting tape. So what we could do is take off that piece, just place this on top. Make sure you press down a little bit so you can make sure that it sticks. And there you go. That's it. That's all you gotta do. And of course, to adjust the height, just layer on some thin layers of either gaffer tape or electrical tape, and just repeat the process about that many times and that many times. Okay, it's been a couple of hours at least, so let's take a look at our channels, see how they are doing. They're pretty well stuck in. That is good. All right, we're in business. Okay, so let's put everything back together. We're so much closer, finally, to getting this thing done. All right, so now we need sensors. Okay. Thing we can't forget. These are the things that actually let us, you know, press the arrows. So this is what a DDR sensor looks like. Could use a little bit of cleaning. All the sensors in this pad have been replaced at some point, so none of these are any of the stock Konami sensors. A lot of these sensors actually I got from Tokyo Game Action's lot. There was a lot of 64 sensors that I managed to get, and I remember somebody trying to run the price up to try and get them from me, but I managed to get them, and I don't really want to mention how much they went for. It was way too much. But anyway, the sensor here, of course, they go in the channels, and you want the wire going in the spot where we gave it room. So all we have to do is just slip that right in. Just tuck it in nice and firm. Don't be afraid to give it a little pressure. These are what they're made to do, is to take pressure. These all feel so good. The sensor channels, like the old ones were kind of warped and they were very inflexible, but these channels, brand new. Come on. I'm at a weird angle. Let's try a different sensor. Maybe this one. Yeah. Let's push that in. Maybe I need to oil it up a bit. I have the oil bag here. I gotta dab it with some more oil or something. Right in. And this whole thing has been such a pain in the ass, but I know that it's gonna all be well worth it. Well worth the work that I put into this thing. This thing is gonna play like a dream. Okay. Put the sensors in here. Yeah, okay. Wire down there. Let's try this sensor. We'll wipe it up over here. Okay. There we go. Okay, now that we've got the sensors all seated, we'll want to make sure we get those connected to their corresponding connectors here. I want to go to the closest one if you can manage it. Take that away. You always want to make sure that these wires never go above the triangles here, the corner rubber stopper things, because otherwise the arrow is just going to lay on it, and when you hit down on the arrow it's going to crush it. You don't want that to happen. Get that connected. Okay, all four sensors are connected. And where's the LED? Okay, here we go. Here's the the lights connector right here. It's like a tiny 2-prong connector. Like that, we just snap that in, and yeah, that's simple. We're good to go. I think that's the right direction. I can never remember. Is it brown? Brown and white. I can never remember which way is which. But I'm sure we'll find out. Okay. That's all good. All right. Now, let's get these L brackets in place. I got some M4 by 8 screws, Phillips head, pan head machine screws from Mr. Metric. I also got something special here that I got custom made by someone named Marco from Italy. These are inspired by the bracket holders that are found in ITG and Pump It Up cabs. Instead of using the original spacers and washers with the screws going in each of these holes, you have a bracket here to hold it all in place, so you don't really lose any of the screws if you ever need to remove them. So we're gonna break these open and find out how well they work. I heard they work magnificently well, from what I've heard from people in the Facebook groups. Oh, whoops. All right. Let's grab an L bracket here. We want to sit them on top of the sensor, and with this bracket you want to line it up the holes. There's 3 holes here, but you want to lock these in place. So these brackets will act as the spacer, as well as securing them in, and hopefully these are long enough. M4 by 8 is the original size. I'm hoping that it's still long enough so that these can lock in place. All right. That looks magnificent. I don't know if we could get close enough here, but this red bracket here is going to save us a lot of pain and suffering, and it gives us enough room to move around too. Yeah, you want some wiggle room with the L brackets here, because if they ever lock in place, the arrow's going to get stuck, and you don't want that at all. But yeah, as long as they give a little wiggle room, you're going to be okay. So let's do that to the rest of the sensors here. Let's get ourselves all set up. 3. Okay. Put our spacer in. Screw it in just a little bit so we can at least get them in position. I think this is going in the right place. Yep. Come on. It's a little hard to see where you're screwing into, because with how these brackets are, you can't really see where you're screwing. You just kind of gotta get a feel for it. Come on, you can do it. I think that's it. Okay. Now we can lock in the rest in place. Tighten that up. The great part is that you can tighten these all the way. Nice and secure. And oh, that's not good. That's not moving around. I was gonna say that you can tighten them as much as you want and they still won't move around, but looks like that's not the case for this one. So let's loosen this one up and see what's wrong here. Just need to adjust this a little bit. Any good. Why is it that this one can move so freely but not this one? What could be wrong? Oops. Where's my magnetic screw? That back up. Does it not affect this one? Great. Let's find out what went wrong here. I don't know. They should have went in fine. Like, it's all lined up correctly, right? Yeah. We can try another one. Try this spacer. Still get a little wiggle room, that's good. Maybe it's just that one bracket. Yeah, this still moves around. Let's see what we can do when we tighten it up. Okay. I think we might have to keep this one a little loose, because it's not liking it when I keep it on too tight. Okay, well, as long as that's secured, let's move on to the next one. Not liking that screwdriver, so let's change it up. Can it still lift? Yes, it can. Good. Okay, let's try tightening this up and see what we get. Still moves around. I don't know, maybe it's just this bracket in this spot. The L bracket, I mean. I don't know. These are super tight and they're not moving, so whatever. Let's get these three. Let's move on. Come on, stay in place. Easy. Let's see, secure now. Okay, locked in. Let's get the third one in here. Can this move around? No. Why can't this one move around? Move around now. Maybe the spacer just isn't long enough for some of these. But the other two were fine. Well, this can tighten more. Let's see what happens if we do that. Tighten up that one. It's this corner here. If we tighten it up too much, then it won't work. But I hope this will be okay. Move that around, move that around, move that. Okay, we're good. All right, so we set up everything here. Let's top this thing off. I gotta put an arrow on it. These are custom made polycarbonate panels. I got them custom made and printed. Can't remember what site I printed these from. It's been a few years since I got these. But looks secure. Alright. Now gotta get the corner brackets. Corner brackets here. One, two, three, four. Let's grab our Allen wrenches. I got this from some IKEA shelf, and these are like the greatest things. Because you could just take these, spin it around like that. It's much easier than using a regular Allen wrench. Okay. Oop. Must be all that oil that I've been putting my hands in. These are rough. So let's take this to the oil rag and give it a good wipe. Let's try it again. Still kind of tough to get in there. But hopefully it won't be too much trouble. You just need to chase it a few times. Okay, much better now. Let's get 4 more. Finish this thing off. That's what I should be doing, is wiping all these down. Because who knows how long those screws have been just sitting around. It'd be good to grease them up a bit. Makes it go in easier. Seems like some of these have been pretty roughed up. Had these screws for years. It's possible that the threads could have been warped over time. This one too. Come on. All right. Has one arrow done. Getting that much closer, folks. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of these. It is 3 in the morning. I'm short a few screws over on the second pad. I am beat. I'll test this tomorrow. Oh, I can't believe it. We're finally done. Oh, just like, it took how many days? Like, started, oh my god, like, I don't even know how long it took to, like, reassemble, let alone paint them and clean them out and all that. But after months of grueling labor, we'll say months, yeah, we finally finished this whole thing, minus a couple of things. I can't seem to find the joint brackets that are supposed to keep the pads together. I'll have to go digging around at some point. And I gotta take some time to tie up those the bar covers too. But yeah, like, you get to see this thing in action right now, so let's test it out. I've got the IO check here. Just press just to test all the arrows to make sure that they respond. Oop. This is looking really good. Down, up, left, right, down. Yeah, there were, yeah, right now the down arrow is kind of having some issues getting stuck, but once we play on it a little more, it should break in and it should be fine. But yeah, how about we take this thing for a spin? So for the life of me, I cannot find my stereo adapter. I usually hook up a set of speakers instead of the marquee, just because before I couldn't install the marquee because there was not enough clearance. But I don't know, there might be enough room in here to like sit the marquee on, but we'll see. And right now I'm running Supernova 2. I wanted to run Max 2 to start it off, because that's basically where I started playing. But I had a CD drive error, but I think I fixed that in the unit here. And I need like a CGA to VGA converter or an upscaler of some sort, because I have a line doubler by Wea that didn't seem to really do what I wanted it to. It was still trying to send a 15 kilohertz signal, which is not what I want for this monitor, because this monitor is VGA only. Yeah, we're just gonna have to deal with only having bass for now, so let's check it out. Okay, I can change difficulties now. Sweet. That's tough with no sound. Oh, rusty as hell. Okay, now that the pads are done, it's time to work on the cabinet itself, because that definitely needs a lot of work, and that's going to come much later, I think. So stay tuned.